Alright guys, we are out here looking at the H7 from Evercross. This is a hybrid electric scooter. There's a lot of stuff to kind of dive into. As you can see, there's tons of customization and lots of fun things you can do with this thing, but let's talk about some of the main specs. So with this, we've got an 800 watt motor, we've got 28 mile per hour top speed, and we've got a 15 amp hour battery. Now that should give us about 20 to 25 miles as far as like the range goes. Now this isn't a bike, so we don't have pedal assist, anything like that. We do have a couple of modes for speed that we can change on there, but for the most part, this is just a it's a scoot around kind of utility scooter thing. And as you can see, there's lots of customizations, as I mentioned, so let's go ahead and just talk about some of those. First, let's start with the back here. So we'll start with the deck. Now we do get some pretty good deck clearance. This is about 6.5 inches or so of deck clearance, so this is definitely something that would easily go off of curbs or something like that. We've got suspension up at the front and suspension in the rear, so this is a fairly comfortable ride. We've also got suspension here in the saddle as well. Now, one of the things you can do if you don't want a saddle and you're just looking for sort of a bigger, kind of beefier scooter, is you can take this bad boy here. This is a quick adjust. We can push it in and then fold it up, or pull this down, push this in, fold it down, boom. Now, from this point, you could use it as a scooter. So you can put your back foot here, you put your foot over on this side. Now this isn't ideal for scootering. Ideally you'd want to remove the bolts right here, and so you can remove this plate, and then it just turns into a scooter. But if for some reason you need to get it out of the way, then you have the option to do that as well. And you can also come over here. We've got a quick release saddle up here, so you can quick release it from somewhere. Oh, there's the lever. Used to them being in the front. So we pop this, and then we can move this forward. We can move the whole thing forward, so it just sets up there. Now this would sort of interfere with steering a little bit. Not that it would stop it or anything, but it is going to put some friction here. So not necessarily like the ideal way you'd want to ride around on it. But if you needed to, for some reason, you could do that. Let's go ahead and snap the seat back in. And over here, get that popped in, and boom, our seat's installed. Now this does come with a suspension seat post, and honestly, it has a lot of movement on there. When I sit down, I really get quite a bit of suspension out of it. So it is fairly comfortable from that perspective. So that's sort of the adjustment stuff we can make on the back. In the front, the handlebars, they do come out, so they do detach. So you can pull this out and then fold the handlebars like that. Now, one of the things I noticed here is it's just a pop out to the split hand. There's no threads or anything like that to get this to connect, which might be something that would be a little bit more of a safety feature. I don't see any issues with this, and I haven't had experienced any issues, but if you were going to be like dropping some curbs or something like that, it's definitely worth noting there are no threads here to keep this in place. You've seen some scooters where it will have the folding mechanism, then you can screw it on for an extra layer of safety. These ones don't have that. So with the handlebars, we can come over here, we can adjust it, so we'll pop this up, and it does adjust fairly tall, so it could accommodate quite an array of riders. And if you remove the seat out and you're going for more of a scooter vibe, this is sort of in the realm of scooter heights that we would want to look at. But we're going to start with it in moped mode, seated mode, so we'll leave it down here for the ride test on that. Now let's talk about the user interface, the keys, all that sort of stuff. And you come up here, we'll turn the key into the on position, and then once that's on, we can press the power button over here and we can get some power. So if you press the power button, it's going to cycle through a couple different things here to let us know, about our scooter here. And then we hit the mode button. That's going to change our level of pedal assist. We got 1, 2, and 3. It also is telling us a couple other stuff over here. So we've got 0 start on the throttle, which is a setting that you can adjust. And then on the left hand side, we have got our on off on the lights and a horn. So for the on lights here, it's going to turn on the lights in the front. It's going to turn on these lights. We've got these lights in the back that blink, and there's another set of lights which aren't on now, so we got to pop up over here and hold the M button down. That's going to turn on the lights here. Now it doesn't control the lights in the front or those back ones that we saw, but it does turn on these LED lights on the side, and it changes colors, and it's kind of fun. Howdy. So this is definitely something where, you know, you're kind of cruising around the streets at night. Has a little bit of a vibe, a little bit of a presence. Now they also have an app for it. I can download the app to go through that stuff, but it would be interesting if you could adjust the LED lights through the app. Again, I'm not sure if that is the case, but it would be a cool little feature to have if you like that sort of stuff. So come out here, turn the lights off, turn these LED strips off here, and that is more or less the cockpit. We do have these, you know, single locking grips, kind of this faux, well, it's not faux, it's rubberized plastic, but we do have a locking mechanism here, which is nice, so we're not going to get any movements or anything like that. This handlebar seems to be moving a little bit back. Oh, there it goes. Okay, and that is it for the cockpit. Now if we go to the front, we can look at the suspension. We do have kind of this dual spring suspension up here in the front. It is a little bit rattly, I noticed. I don't know if there's one particular troublesome bit in there, but when I was riding around, it did get a little bit rattly when it wasn't in use. We got some nice solid tires here, which is always fun to see, and a little bit of a mud guard here. So going to be protecting the scooter and the folding bits and stuff, which is always nice. Here in the back, we've got some nicer looking suspension. I mean, this isn't necessarily like top of the line suspension, but the fact that we've got a colored spring on here, that is kind of cool. Looks like there's some adjustments we can do here. I haven't dove into that aspect of it, but it does look like we do have some adjustments. And here in the back, we've got our mechanical disc brake. I kind of like that it's painted red. I don't know, it seems more like a car, and just seems, kind of cool, instead of seeing a lot of the, just the regular black brakes. And same thing up in the front. We've got our brakes up here, again painted red. Now these rotors are they are a little bit on the smaller side. I don't see any nomenclature on there, so I'm guessing they're 160s. They don't look like 180s to me. So you can verify that in the specs down below. I'll confirm that for you guys, but it looks like these are 160s. Now for any scooter like this, one of the main things that we're going to want to know is how it folds. So let's go ahead and go through that process right now. Start on this side over here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is pull this pin out here. So we've removed the seat, gives us a lot more deck space there. Let's go ahead and the seat's sort of one of the things that's holding it up from being super foldable right at the gate, so you do have to make that modification, taking the seat out. Maybe there's another way to do that, but that's the thing that makes the most sense to me. And once it's in here, we can pick this up, carry it around. It's a bit on the heavy side, not necessarily super portable, but if you want to throw it in the back of a car, so you had a specific spot you wanted to go ride this out at, it is something that you can fold up pretty easily. Let's go ahead and unfold it. Compared with some similar scooters. But like I mentioned, we do have some pretty good deck clearance here, some nice grip on the top, and we do have the ability to take off the seat if we want to do that as well. And that pretty much covers it for a majority of the specs here. We're gonna go ahead and throw on the chest mount, pop on here, do a little ride test, and see how she rides for you guys. All right guys, we're out here for the ride test on the H7. We've got it in rider mode, seated mode, whatever you want to call that. Go ahead and pop the kickstand up. Get this on. That's already turned on. Go ahead and power it on. Now look, I'm putting this is where my butt is on the seat, and then as soon as I put, weight on it, it sinks way down. That's, I mean, there's a lot of, this is just the seat suspension. So as, for a seat suspension, this is it's got quite a bit of travel on it. Well, we've got it in mode 3. Let's do mode 1, and we'll just kick it off and see how she goes. As I mentioned, we do have assist turned on from a 0 start. So 1's gonna take us to about 6-7 miles per hour. Now this screen is not the brightest screen. If there's direct sunlight on it, it's a little bit hard to see it. I don't know if that's something in the settings we can adjust the brightness a little bit more, but as it comes, it looks like it's a little bit dim. I'll go ahead and put it into assist mode 2. That's gonna get us up to 15, 16, 17. It's going. 17 or so, and then pedal assist level 3. You feel it kicking off, and this is where we're supposed to get our top speed of 28 miles per hour. Now, I've only got it up to about 22, 23. We are working with about half a battery as far as battery life goes, but we should still be able to hit that 28 miles per hour, unless there's a setting in there we need to go and adjust. But as it sits right now, it feels pretty maneuverable, and it definitely is pretty comfy, even with sort of this lower tier suspension and this suspension seat post. This is a very smooth ride. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the riding geometry of scooters like this that have the seat in there. Now, granted, this is like my second or third scooter with a seat set up like this that I've ridden, but for the most part, it just feels a little cramped, and my balance it's not exactly where I'd want it to be. I feel like I'd want to be back a little bit further, and I can lean back, but that's not, that's not exactly what I want to do. So having some adjustments there would be pretty cool. It doesn't look like that's going to be an option for us here. Oh, look at that, I got us to 25. All right, so we've hit 25 miles per hour. This thing would definitely hit 28 miles per hour if we had enough run room. Let's go ahead and hit a brake right about here. So easy to lock the tires out. All right, to be fair, skidding like this is super fun. So that's a pro for me. I do enjoy a good skid. Go ahead and hit the bottom. We'll do another brake test over here. Got some decent skid power. As far as braking goes, you can brake pretty easily. And then if you need to let somebody know you're coming. Oh yeah, that's fun. Do that up and down the boardwalk all day long. Hitting a little bit of an incline here. There's about 2 miles per hour there. Not terrible, but this doesn't strike me as something that's meant for, any serious incline, at all. It's something that's more of just kind of like a scoot around the neighborhood, scoot down the street, that sort of thing. Go ahead and brake one more time, then we'll put it in scooter mode. Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay, but skidding on it is a lot of fun. That's true. It just takes a little bit longer to stop. That's probably about 20 feet or so. But yeah, when it skids out, it's kind of fun. So let's go ahead and put it in scooter mode. I'm out here, so I can just stash the seat somewhere. So we're gonna try to figure out the best solution for that. We'll go ahead and pop this out, pop this down, and we'll just cruise around like this, and we'll see what happens. I've got room for my foot over here and my foot in the back. This is a nice little pad for your feet here, not here on the back. There's a little sign that says no people. So let's go ahead and adjust the handlebars accordingly. Now there is a max line, so the max line's right there. We'll go ahead and put it down a little bit, and we'll call that groovy. Maybe tighten this up just a smidge. How do you like that? I like that. Okay, so now we've got in scooter mode. Go ahead and, yeah, see, it's not too bad. Sliding your foot under there. Go ahead and let's see what we can do here. Now the platform in the back feels pretty good. Feels fairly stable. It's a little bit of a different feel having your foot that high up. Because, like, you guys can't even see the scooter right now, huh? See if we can adjust this down just a little bit so you can see what my point of view looks like here. So even in max mode, it's still pretty low to be able to see the stuff. Now, it's not a horrible scootering position. Like, this isn't, it's about hip level for me, being able to get the scooter like this. But if you were gonna look at my, point of view, I'm up here, guys. The action's happening up here. So yeah, so not terrible as far as the scooter goes. If the seat wasn't there, we'd have a little bit more room. Okay, I can kind of stand on the brackets here. That's not too bad. And yeah, we can just cruise. Now, the brakes do have motor cutoff inhibitors in them, which is nice. That means if you are, pulling down the throttle and you go to brake, you're not fighting the force of the motor either. Yeah, it's not a very torquey scooter in the sense that the power curve here is pretty relaxed, getting us up to that top speed. It does feel, pretty decent up till about 17, 18 miles per hour as far as the power curve goes, and it just takes a while to get to that top speed of, what's 28 miles per hour. We were able to hit 25, 26 so far. Oh, nothing like a good skid. All right, let's go ahead and test out the brakes on the hill here. Let's get going a little bit. Oh yeah, too easy. So even though these are, mechanical disc brakes, 160 mil is my guess. We'll confirm, but that is that's pretty good. So now let's go ahead and do a little tight turn here. Not too bad. And let's see if we can hit that hill. Really struggling with it, with the hill. So yeah, like I mentioned, this isn't something that's going to be ideal for a place that's super hilly. If you've got a lot of hills to tackle, on your commute or the route that you're planning on taking with this thing, there might be better options out there, just as far as the hill climbing goes. But if you're looking for something that's it's not super expensive, got a decent range on it, and you got the flexibility of the seat versus the scootering, in case you're like, I don't know what I want, then the H7's, it's got some options for you there. Go ahead and do something a little wild. You guys want to do something wild? Now, what was impressive is that I've hit a lot of decks on scooters on that particular drop, and these are pretty big ruts. I think most of that noise that I'm hearing is just the seat flapping up and down. But there is quite a bit of clearance, like I mentioned, and it seems like that's translating really well into us not hitting stuff, which is always a good time. There you go. So like I'd mentioned, those suspensions up in the front, they get a little bit noisy. There's not a whole lot of, damping that's going on there. It just kind of snaps back into position when it's not being used. As far as handling goes, it does feel like it's not super nimble, definitely nimble enough, but those tires are pretty wide, so it is a little bit of a lean, but it's not bad. It's not too bad. It does make it feel a little bit more stable overall, having those sort of like wider tires down there. Yeah, guys, this is a fun little machine here. Well, guys, if you guys want to know more about the H7 or the company that brought it to you, I have a link to them down below. You can check out all the specs over at electrifiedreviews.com. Thanks for riding with us, and we'll catch you on the next one. See, that's just so fun.